lot of people that are about to go to prison, probably younger than me, don't experience or seen the stuff that I saw.
Now, here's the thing. I know horrible things happen in prison. It would be nice if people could be left alone, just do their time in prison and learn. Court is calling 2024 CR 0363, State of Texas versus Jacob Paul Moya. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state? Defense.
Jonathan Ross for the defense, Your Honor.
And are you Jacob Paul Moya?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you entered a plea on April 25th of no contest. According to the plea bargaining agreement, punishment is to be assessed at a cap of 12 months in the state jail facility. There is no application for community supervision, and the state is taking in consideration 2024 CR 3404 as your plea bargaining agreement. The court has had a chance to review the stipulations. The previous judge found that there was sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court is finding that there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty as well, and the court will find you guilty. Have both parties had a chance to review the PSI report? State?
No, Your Honor, but.
Any objections to the PSI report?
No, no.
All right, do you have any witnesses?
We don't, Your Honor, just arguing.
All right, I'll hear argument from the defense, and while the state is reviewing the PSI report, I'll hear argument from them after the fact.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Mr. Moya has been pretty open and direct in his narrative of the incident. Pretty open about and I think pretty honest about his personal difficulties and issues with drugs and alcohol. He didn't emphasize them a lot, but I do believe that he understands them to be serious.
So translate for me, how does "I have problems with drug and alcohol" translate him to having been to prison before for robbery and having all of these cases, and according to what I read in the stipulations, stealing people's packages from mailboxes when people are waiting for their items and then they don't receive them because somebody has stolen them from mailboxes? I don't understand why the federal government is not involved, because it's the theft of US.
He's accepted guilt of that. We have no justification for that, obviously, Your Honor. The main 2 points that I would like to hit are that Mr. Moya, he's been in custody for about for 236 days now on this. He has been diligent in jail. He's not gotten into trouble in jail. He has been attending AA twice a week since February.
So I'm assuming you're going to ask for something less than 12 months in the state jail facility.
Respectfully, Your Honor, yes.
All right, so why should I give him something, and maybe he knows, why should I give him something less than 12 months in the state jail facility? He's already been, if this is correct, he's been to prison before for robbery. And what I'm looking at in the PSI report, he has a theft case. He got deferred for it. Criminal trespass, burglary of a vehicle, failure to identify, another theft case that was dismissed. I'm not going to consider that because it was dismissed. A burglary of a vehicle, second. Failure to identify that was taken in consideration. Failure to identify that was dismissed. Failure to identify that was dismissed. Assault, bodily injury, married, dismissed. Missing witness. Possession, penalty group 3, less than 28 grams. Dismissed because there was no toxicology report. Evading arrest, detention, dismissed, placed on some other form of probation. Theft of $100, enhanced jail time. Burglary of a building, rejected, further investigation. Possession less than a gram, sentenced to 5 months. Another possession less than a gram, placed on probation, revoked. A theft case, sentenced to jail. Fraudulent possession of identifying items, probation terminated. Robbery, sentenced to 2 years in the prison. another fraud case that was dismissed, convicted of other, and burglary of a vehicle with 2 convictions, sentenced to 6 months in the state jail. Then you have this case. So why should I consider giving him less than the 12? You want to raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
My name is Jacob Moya, Jacob Paul Moya.
All right, what would you like to say?
Your Honor, I understand the severity of my charges. I understand my history, and I'm not trying to justify anything that I've done, but I mean, I have learned how severe this can get, that I don't want to go away. I mean, this time it's just 12 months, I know, but next time it could be longer, and I'm not trying to see the next time. I'm not trying to do this. I see how this is. I'm not trying to do this. I can honestly say, I know I caught the charges just recently, but I do now think a little clearer, and I don't think how I was when I picked up the robbery or those other charges. I'm not that same person, and I don't want to be that person. I'm trying hard to push away from being that person.
I don't know why it's so hard not to steal.
Honestly, Your Honor, it's there. I think it's just easier to do it. I know people work hard for what they got.
I
People
don't know
still
why
work-
people don't want to work anymore.
No, I was working, Your Honor, it was actually that week. I wasn't working, I wasn't home, but
So other people who were at work, because see, I want you to internalize what you did. Other people who were at work, waiting for their packages to be delivered. Maybe it's somebody's birthday gift. Maybe it's something somebody's mom sent to them. Maybe it's something a family member sent to them that can't be replaced. And there's somebody just waiting for the postman to drop items in the mailbox so they can steal it. Taking somebody's vehicle, breaking into a vehicle, stealing items. That's some item that somebody worked hard for. I always would tell, I've been a defense attorney. I would have clients. They'd say, I don't have a job. I'm like, yeah, you do. They're like, what's my job? I'm like, you break into people's homes, you break into people's cars. That's your employment. While people are at work, you break into their house. Because I would always give my clients home truths to tell them, you need to look at what you're doing to society. You're a person in society that people have issues with because they're out here working hard, following the rules, and you're breaking them and breaking it in somebody's mailbox. I still don't know why the federal government doesn't start arresting people, because interference with the postal service, stealing mail, that's a federal offense. If you read the letters, even when a letter comes to your house and it's supposed to be in somebody else's mail, but the postman put it in your mailbox by mistake, you know what it says on there? It has a law on there about if you open this and it is not for you and you take it and you don't just put it back in the box, return to sender. Me personally, I always just drive around the corner, knock on my neighbor's door. Hey, they put this in my box by mistake. If it's junk mail, I just put it back in the mailbox because nobody wants junk mail really. But that's what you've been out here doing. And now you come to the court, you want sympathy saying you've learned. And I'm sure, hopefully, when you went to prison for robbery, did you learn anything from that experience?
honestly, Your Honor, I'm not trying to justify, like I said, but when I went to prison, I was put in some difficult positions where I can honestly say, like, I pray that a lot of people that are about to go to prison, probably younger than me, don't experience or seen the stuff that I saw.
Now, here's the thing. I know horrible things happen in prison. It would be nice if people could be left alone, just do their time in prison and learn. But prison, really, the only way to be rehabilitated I see in prison, if you're like 100% about rehabilitation. I know people in prison, guess what? They get beat up. People in prison get their commissary taken from them. People in prison get raped. People in prison will rape people in prison. Then they get out and they go back to their wives, their family member, acting like nothing ever happened. Oh yeah, I just raped him because guess what? We're in prison. This is what we do. I understand prison is a horrible place to be. Bear County Jail is a horrible place to be. I had clients who were over there who were bit by spiders. Next thing you know, they have a hole in their leg. It happens. It's a shame it happens. There's nothing I could do about that. If there is something I could do about it, I would be right in there doing something about it. So I understand prison is not a fun place. And honestly, it's not supposed to be a fun place. Some people say, when I'm released from prison, guess what? I have to watch my back 24/7 because I'm used to in prison watching my back 24/7 because you never know who's coming after you or what they're going to do. I understand. But you get out of prison, which you say was a difficult time for you, and then you come out and you still do this.
Well, Your Honor,
If,
Oh, he,
if I could, just interject, oh my bad.
yes.
I do understand, I wasn't on drugs when I had committed the offense, although I'm not trying to justify it. Since I've been in Bear County, I'd like to point out, I spoke with my lawyer, he said it would be a good idea. I was a painter from January and February, and I just recently stopped doing that. It was for a corporal. And then her husband, which is a sergeant for jail programs, hired me to do mattresses, and they actually said that since I've been doing such a good job, they want to move me to the main jail to show the people, the other inmates, how to do it, because they're already gonna be done with it there. They're starting like an initiative to I guess eliminate the damage of beds, to make them and clean them. And I mean, I like that me doing that working. That's honestly, I've lined up a job for when I get out. I'm really pushing forward to sticking to that plan. Cause honestly, I like the energy and just how I am, how I am as a person when I'm working and I'm doing something productive.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
All right, I want to let you know, I internalized everything what you said, and I understand that you're on a path, you're trying to do better with your life. But sometimes sentencing is about punishment. And so I'm going to give you the 12 months. I'll give you credit for any time served. I'm going to take in consideration 2024 CR 3404. Did you review the trial court certification with your attorney? Did you sign it?
Oh, okay, yes, sir.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. Here's the thing, when you're released from the state jail facility, if you think you want to use drugs, if you're trying to find a place to stay, if you're trying to find a free place for rehab and you can't find it, if I'm still here, you can come back here. I will pick up the phone, call somebody with resources so that you cannot come back here again for this type of situation. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, okay?
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Option, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Court is calling 2022 CR 1442, State of Texas versus Brandon Sierra. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Zach Dunn for the state.
Defense?
Sylvia Rosses and Christopher Ramos as the defense.
All right, and your client is present, correct?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And so we are here today for a hearing on an outcry statement. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. And would you call your witness?
Yes. Your Honor, the state will call April Vasquez.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
All right, you can lower your hand, state your name for the record.
April Vasquez.
All right, state.
And Your Honor, very briefly, counsel and I had discussed at the end of yesterday that we would like to join invoke the rule.
All right, the rule will be invoked as of today.
Thank you, Judge. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And thank you, counsel, for yesterday. Ms. Vasquez, can you please spell your name for the court reporter's purposes?
APRIL.
Just one moment. Excuse me, Mr. Cano, you all need to move to that end because we're in the record. No problem. All right, we're back on the record. If you'll spell your last name.
PASQUEZ.
And ma'am, how do you know Gabrielle Guerrero?
She's my daughter.
And ma'am, at the time that you heard about allegations of sexual assault, how old were you at the time? How about this? Let me rephrase, ma'am. Were you over the age of 18?
Yes,
And how old was your daughter at the time?
she was underage, under 18.
Under the age of 18?
Yes,
You're certain of that?
absolutely.
Now, ma'am, when you found out about the allegations, where were you at the time?
I was in my car. getting ready to go pick up food for her and her siblings, when I received a text message from her,
And when you say her, this is from Gabby?
from my daughter Gabby, yes.
And when you went back to the house, did she mention who the allegation of sexual assault was in relation to?
Yes,
And what was that individual's name?
she named Brandon Sierra.
And ma'am, can you articulate which offenses or which allegations your daughter relayed to you that day? Let me, I apologize.
Um, She stated that Brandon touched her inappropriately on her breast and on her vagina.
And ma'am, other than touching on the breast and the vagina, did your daughter relay anything else to you with respect to allegations of misconduct, sexual misconduct by Brandon Sierra?
She did.
And what did she relay?
She stated that he put his penis in her mouth.
Anything else, ma'am?
That he pulled down her pants. He penetrated her vagina with his penis.
What was your daughter's demeanor at the time she relayed this?
She was crying.
Vince, any questions?
Ms. Vasquez, what was the date of the outcry?
I don't know the exact date, but I know it was in February of 2021.
Okay, and in February of 2021, how old was Gabby?
Oh, goodness, maybe 13, 14.
Well, 13 or 14.
I'm not sure. 13 or 14.
Okay, well, what was her date of birth?
July 21st, 2006.
Okay, so if it was July of 06 and the outcry was February of 2021, that would put her at 14 years old, not quite 15 since it wasn't July 21st yet, correct? Would
I'm
that
not
be
sure.
accurate?
I'm not sure.
Now, where were you when she made the outcry?
I was in my vehicle.
You were in the vehicle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and were you present with April in person or just on the, by text or by phone?
I am April.
I'm sorry,
I am April.
with Gabby, where were y'all?
I'm sorry, can you rephrase that?
Okay, well, let me ask you, was she in the vehicle with you or did she send it by text or by phone?
No, ma'am. She was not in the vehicle. She was in the house in her room and she sent me a text message by phone to go upstairs.
Okay, now that wasn't an outcry, it was just that she wanted to talk to you, right?
Initially, yes.
Right, and so where was the actual outcry? The outcry or when they're saying allegations, where were you and her when that happened?
The outcry was in her room in our home.
All right, and so, isn't it true that when the officer arrived on the 21st and you were telling her what Gabby told you, you didn't mention any details about what you testified to today,
That's untrue because I am unsure.
okay? And you also told her that Gabby had told you that Brandon had been touching her down there, correct?
Correct.
Okay, but the details that you're giving today are more than what she told you, in fact, told you.
That's incorrect.
Now, isn't it true that at a later time, upon talking with Gabby,
Your Honor,
About
to
this.
Object before council finishes. The scope of this hearing is about the first time she was told, we asked about it. Council can cross her about that, but this is maybe proper cross-examination for the witness in general, but not for an outcry hearing.
All right, defense, are you
Sure.
asking about the outcry?
yeah, I'm establishing that what she's testifying to today was at a later time, not at the time of the outcry.
All right, I'll hear the testimony.
And so isn't it true that the further details that you've given this court today are from a later time that you discussed in more detail with Gabby?
No, ma'am, that's not true.
Are you telling this court that you, other than in her room on the 21st, y'all have never discussed any further details?
That's not what I stated.
Pass the witness.
Further questions, Your Honor?
All right, thank you. The rule has been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. You cannot view anything about this case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. It's calling 2024 CR 1726, State of Texas versus Rogelio Valero. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Jason Garahan, Your Honor.
Defense?
Robert Geary, Your Honor, for defendant Rogelio Valero Jr., and we're ready.
Are you Mr. Valero?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, we have, Judge.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Valero, did you review the document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it and sign it? Did you review the true bill of indictment with your attorney? Did you understand it? You need to speak up.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Your Honor.
Mr. Valero, did you review the document entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 grams to 200 grams? That's a second-degree felony. Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea with the state, court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand? Did you understand you have a right to jury trials? A right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent? Did you understand by entering this plea, you were giving up those rights? All right, you're whispering.
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case? All right, you're whispering.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe that he does, Judge.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe that he was. And
Miss-
he is.
Mr. Valera, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter the plea?
No, ma'am.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, ma'am.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes,
Are you a U.S. citizen?
yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Did you review the plea bargain page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea, there's a $1,000 fine and the state recommends deferred adjudication. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes,
Defense?
yes, Your
State?
Honor. It is, Your Honor.
Did you review the waiver of appeal paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, there have not. Judge.
Outside the plea, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 4 years. There be a TAP evaluation, 100 hours of community service restitution, and the DOEP course. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence.
Yes, Your Honor, state exhibit number 1 with its attachments.
Defense is reviewed, Your Honor. We have no objections.
All right, state you may be excused. Did you review the document entitled Waiver and Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. After reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, we have.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Judge, just in regards to my client's financial status at the moment, this cause arose out of a situation where he was being evicted from his longtime home. He had been terminated from his place of employment. Since then, he was dutifully been trying to find employment, and he has been unsuccessful at the time, but is still on it and trying to get employed. We would like the court to take that into consideration when rendering the sentencing at this time. My client has the utmost competence that he can and will abide by all the provisions of deferred adjudication, Your Honor. It's just that any assistance in the matter of financials currently would be much appreciated. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. How long have you been unemployed?
2 years,
All right, how do you support yourself?
side jobs.
All right, so you're gonna have to get employment, you
Yes,
understand?
I've been doing that, ma'am.
And I know it's hard,
Yes, ma'am.
but I see signs all the time for employment at McDonald's, and McDonald's actually has a great benefits plan.
Been doing all of the above.
All right. Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right. Are you staying with someone now?
Yes, ma'am.
Who?
A friend.
Who is this friend?
He's a longtime friend, childhood friend.
All right, so is he in the witness protection program or
Oh,
something?
no.
So what's his name?
Juan Martinez.
All right. So probation, he says he's living with someone by the name of Juan Martinez. All right, and if you drug
I've
test,
also applied for housing also.
okay. If you're drug tested today, what are the results gonna be?
Uh,
And
Not-
here's the thing,
not
before
good.
you, not good?
Mm.
All right, positive for what?
Marijuana.
No, is,
Marijuana, ma'am.
and what else?
That should be.
No. Here's the thing, probation will UA you
Oh,
today.
yes.
So marijuana and what else?
Controlled substance, ma'am. The
And
last
what
one.
substance would that be?
Um,
Yes, you have to tell me. What would it be?
Meth, ma'am.
Okay. That wasn't hard. Here's the
No,
thing,
it's just-
you've got to admit what your
Yes,
issues
yes,
are.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
There's no need to be embarrassed, because guess what? Everybody in this courtroom is working on improving their life.
Yes.
Nobody in here is perfect.
Yes, ma'am.
So where you are now, hopefully, after you've completed this probation successfully,
Yes, ma'am.
you will not be back here.
Correct.
5 years deferred adjudication, $1,000 fine probated, regular reporting by Zoom or in person, proof of employment within 30 days, no employment as a home healthcare provider or with minors. I'm going to do a referral to felony drug court. You need to be honest with them. And the way you were being wishy-washy with me, you cannot be wishy-washy with them. You need to let them know what your issues are. That is a good program if you work the program
Yes, ma'am.
honestly. They will help you with housing. They will help you with your drug issues. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And if the person you're staying with has a drug issue, you all should not be living together.
That's, yes.
I'm gonna want field visits 1 time per month until in treatment. If he's not accepted in felony drug court, I'm gonna want a TAP evaluation and follow TAP recommendations. I'm gonna want the UA hotline until further notice. 120 sober meetings. and 120 days. We'll hold off on the DOEP course until we figure out what the TAP evaluation said or probation says. There's going to be 120 hours of community service restitution. I'm going to require you to do a work program. Once you complete the work program, the court will deem the community service hours satisfied. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
Just to confirm, you said 120 community service hours?
No, 100 community service hours.
Nothing else.
Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
No.
Did you review the document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it? All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. You understand? We can go off the record. Here's the thing. In order to be successful, you need to be honest with the court. Oh, and you're on lunch break. You need to be honest with the court.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's an issue, if you feel as though you're going to use, guess what? Talk to your probation officer. That's the only way you're going to be successful. Talk to them and say, I think I'm going to use. Or even if you do use, tell them, maybe I've used. Guess what? They're going to try to get you treatment. If you feel there's an issue and they're not addressing it, you can always come back to the court.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm here mostly every day except for weekends. All right, so remain in the courtroom. Probation will go over conditions with you. And everyone else, we're on lunch break.
Judge,
Yes,
4 or 5 years.
5.
5, okay. I didn't hear. I don't hear so good.
All right, have you conferred with the state?
I have, Judge. State has made an offer that would include the misdemeanor, which is set next week. So we're gonna go ahead and take care of that downstairs next week on his misdemeanor day, Judge.
All right, state.
Yes, Judge, we made an offer on both cases, but it took off for them to go take an offer.
All right, so when is that? What date?
I believe it's June 12th, if I remember correctly, Judge.
I didn't look at the decision date on this, but I know it was the.
All right, can someone look up for me and tell me when the misdemeanor case is set on Prinking? How do you pronounce your name?
Green K,
Prinke and the last name?
Van Fumi.
Van Fumi. Okay, at least I had that part right.
I have it in my calendar.
Oh,
the
yes,
12th,
it's
Judge.
June 12th. All right, so what we'll do is we'll reset this for June 12th. I'll make a notation in my, on the docket sheet that you're to go to misdemeanor court first, and then you'll come here. All right, Ms. Ferguson, on this case, they're coming back on June 12th, but he's going to go to misdemeanor court first. Once you have the reset form, your excuse.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Have a good morning.
You too. Ruben Torres?
Your Honor.
Yes.
We're gonna need an interpreter and I did not tell your coordinator, clearly. in the
All right,
past.
is your client a citizen?
He is not, Your Honor.
All right, we will find out. Oh, okay, we'll just have a seat. And
Thank
did you let them know now?
I did, Your Honor. I apologize.
All right, thank you. All right, David Perales. All right, so where are we on this case?
Your Honor, if I may explain briefly.
Yes.
For Mr. Perales, the only felony appointment letter I've gotten on him is for continuous family violence, which evidently was dismissed and reduced.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got the notice evidently because we found that out today, or we're trying to figure that out. But I got the notice today to be here for this hearing on the CTD side. We
Okay,
had it worked out, but we'd like a plea deadline date so we can talk through it and he can talk to his family because I found out about these 2 cases today.
okay.
And
Paul,
Yes.
yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. The other case is actually set for July 9th. I don't know when they dumped everything over, it's getting different tickets.
They did give us 2 dates. One was set for today and one for July 9th. Judge. You know, we're gonna try to get over everything.
All right, so this is what I'll do. I'll put it on July 9th.
That's fine, Judge.
And if y'all want to come forward sooner, just let the coordinator know.
Good, Judge. Thank you very much.
All right, so what is this tattoo, no love? Do you have no love or people are not giving you any love or
I got this tattoo years ago, man.
when? How old were you?
I was like 18, 19. I'm
Do
30
you
now.
still, do you still want to keep that?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm always curious about tattoos because I'm wondering, one, do people regret having them? Do they still want to keep them? And sometimes I want to know what the meaning of it was. So what were you going on at that time in life? Were you,
I was locked up for the first time.
I'm
and
sorry?
I was locked up for the first time. I was just going through some things, I guess, in my own mind. You know what I mean? I was gonna go to time, I thought, and I don't know, I just went wild, I guess.
Okay. All right, we'll see you back on July 9th, okay?
Thank you, Your
All
Honor.
right, thank you.
Excuse Your Honor.
Yes. All right, Joshua Alcaraz. Joshua Alcaraz. All right, could I see a prosecutor? And this is a PR bond. Court is calling NIBAG number 764003, State of Texas versus Joshua Alcaraz for the state.
Zach Dunn for the state.
All right, this is a violation report. This is the second violation report. The defendant has not reported to pretrial services. The court allowed the defendant a chance to report, and the court gave the defendant 7 days to obtain compliance. He has not, according to the report. Pretrial services officers have reached out to all of the collateral contact information that was provided. Deputy Laura, did you make an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor, he is not in the hallway.
State?
The state would respectfully request a bond forfeiture, Your Honor.
All right, the court will grant a judge's warrant, remand the defendant without bond. If he makes an appearance, the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Prosecutor on Robert Flores.
CFDM.
Oh, it's, yes, and it's a PR bond. Court is calling night mag number 754466, State of Texas versus Robert Flores for the state.
Zach Dunn for the state.
All right, the attorney on this is Marissa Giovinco. Marissa Giovinco contacted the court and said that she has had no contact with the client. This is the second violation report. Pretrial services said that they have attempted to make contact with the defendant. The court gave the defendant 15 days to comply, and pretrial services said they still have no contact with him. Deputy Laura, did you make an announcement?
Yes, Your Honor, there's someone in the hallway.
State?
Your Honor, the state would respectfully request a bond forfeiture.
All right, the court will issue a judge's warrant and remand the defendant without bond. If he makes an appearance, the court will reconsider.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.